Hey folks, welcome to what I'm calling the Greenfield Video Store Rewind. Many years ago, I worked at a video store in town, and recently I've been feeling nostalgic about my time there, which got me thinking about the other video stores in Greenfield that came and went over the years. So, after a fair amount of research, I've pieced together what the history of video stores in Greenfield looks like, and I'll take a few minutes here to walk through that timeline. But before I get into the details about each video store in town, I wanted to just briefly talk about the rise and fall of video stores in general, not just what happened in Greenfield, but really how that same story played out for the video store industry in general across the country. The video rental business was dominated by VHS tapes, and it rose to prominence in the mid 1980s. The widespread adoption of those increasingly affordable VCRs made it possible for people to watch movies at home, but at that time, the high cost of buying VHS tapes made renting a more attractive option, which led to the proliferation of video stores from small independent shops to the large national chains. And just as a reference, December 1979, Lapierre's, which had several locations around Greenfield over the years, had a VCR on sale for $849. 1979 versus 2025, accounting for inflation, and that's about $3,800 today. And then a few years later, in 1985, they had another VCR on sale starting at $350, is equal to about $1,000 today. And the decline and eventual demise of the VHS video rental business can largely be attributed to the introduction of new technologies that offered superior quality and greater convenience. There were many factors that led to that general decline, but there were three big things that very dramatically affected that video store industry. The first being the digital video disc. The launch of the DVD in the mid 1990s marked the beginning of the end for VHS. DVDs offered better picture and sound quality, storage capacity, they're more durable, took up less space, and really they became a much more appealing format. And that shift forced video stores to adapt, but it also signaled a move away from the analog tape format, which had previously defined the industry. The second factor was the online rental services. The late 1990s saw companies such as Netflix emerge with a new business model, which was basically DVD rentals ordered online and delivered by mail with no late fees. And that was a direct challenge to that brick and mortar rental store model and began to eat into the market share of those existing video stores. And the last factor that contributed to the decline of video stores were streaming services. That ultimate blow came in the early 2000s. Netflix and others began offering on demand access to a massive library of content for a flat monthly fee. The convenience of streaming proved to be really the final nail in the coffin for most video rental businesses. Now, getting back to Greenfield, I know there were many great video stores in the surrounding towns, such as, say, the AV House in Turner's Falls. But for the purpose of this video and this research, I'm focusing only on the video stores located within Greenfield. And I'll just take a few minutes to walk through a timeline here that I've assembled. Primarily, the key milestones across that timeline involve stores opening or closing, but there are a few notable moments as well. Note that the bulk of this information referencing dates and other details comes from the archives of the Greenfield Recorder newspaper. And as you can see here, a list of 11 video stores that were in operation in Greenfield over the span of just about 30 years. And so the very first one, 1980, located at 60 Wells Street, Del Padre. For the first few years, the business was all about home electronics and appliance sales and service. The video rental portion of that business wasn't introduced until 1983, but I'm still including this 1980 date here for just completeness. Also, Del Padre is the video store that I worked at from 1988 to 1992. So this is the business that I know the most about, and I actually plan to create a separate video similar to this one, but focused solely on Del Padre. So be on the lookout for that in the future. 1983, Video Expo, located at 339 Federal Street, opened. Del Padre and Video Expo were the first video stores, as far as I can tell, in Greenfield. I wasn't able to find a lot of information about Video Expo, but you can see here a few ads highlighting their third year of business in 85, 86. But it seems that they were called simply Video Expo, then I think renamed to Video Expo 1 when two additional locations were opened. And you can see the current Google Street View of that store location. It seems pretty overgrown now, and I'm not really sure what the status of that building is. The other notable date in 1983, as I mentioned, Del Padre adds video rental to their existing business. 1986, CN Video, which was located in what is now Big Y Plaza. Not a lot of information for this business that I could find. It was located in the lobby of the Greenfield Cinemas, but from what I can determine, the theater was in operation from the 1980s until 2003, and the CN Video operated from 1986 to 1988. I do remember going to see movies at that theater, and the videos were all mounted on shelving on the wall in the main lobby, as I recall. And the current street view of that location you can see there is currently just empty storefronts. And 1987, Pro Video, located at the building at the base of the Longview Tower heading up the Mohawk Trail, still within the Greenfield limits. I was able to clearly determine that they opened for business in 1987, but when they actually closed is a bit less clear, which actually for a lot of these, it seems more often the case. There's promotion and press releases and so forth for opening of the business, but not always for when a business closes. And it appears that they closed up the business right around 1990, and you can see the photo of what the building looks like now. 1988 saw Sounds Easy Video open, located at 21 Mohawk Trail. The grand opening was in June of 1988. Looks like there were 3 locations: Greenfield, Amherst, and Northampton. They operated at this location until 2000 when they were bought out by the national chain Movie Gallery, which I'll get to shortly. I rented videos there on occasion, and as I recall, the store was located kind of at the end of the building, as you can see here in that current street view. 1988 also saw, as I mentioned, the CN Video at the Big Y Plaza closed after 2 years. Video Expo that same year on Federal Street closed after 5 years of operation, but a new business opened, Village Video, located at 63 French King Highway in the little plaza very near to Stop and Shop. They were in operation from 1988 to 1991. And I should comment, as you can see here, the photo was a pretty rough black and white photo from the Greenfield Recorder archives that was dark and pretty difficult to see what was going on. So with mixed feelings, I've used a bit of technology to enhance and color that image, and you'll see that throughout a few photographs here. And again, like I said, I have mixed feelings about the use of that technology, but for the purpose of this video and making those photos easier to see, I thought it would be okay. Village Video, as I mentioned, was in operation from 1988 to 1991. 1989, Video Studio at 135 Federal Street, right next to CVS, opened. They were acquired by the national chain Movie Gallery, which again I'll get to shortly. I was able to find a very blurry color photo of the exterior of the building when it was Video Studio, as you can see on the bottom right, and I used technology to clean it up and sharpen it up a bit. Moving on to 1990, Pro Video at the Longview Tower closed after being in operation for 3 years. Village Video near Stop and Shop closed after being in operation for 3 years. 1993, Del Padre, as it was, closed in May of 1993. They did sell just the video rental portion of the business to some new owners. The new owners stayed at that location and retained the name Del Padre for about a year before changing the name of that business. And you can see here the article on the Del Padre being closed and how there was a little bit of a crossover in the new owners still accepting payments for some rental items. And 1994, after Del Padre closed, the new owners of the video portion of the business continued to use the Del Padre name. But in 1994, they renamed the business to Video Playground, though still located at that 60 Well Street former Del Padre location. 1997 saw the opening of Main Street Video, located at 357 Main Street, right next to the Garden Cinemas. The video store business was short lived, unfortunately, and only operated for just about a year from 1997 to 1998. You can see here in one of the photos at the bottom, the center photo was from the 1998 Memorial Day Parade, which is just after the store had closed, but you can see the exterior Main Street Video sign is still up out on the building. And then there's the street view of that location as it appears today. 1998, Video Playground relocated from the 60 Wells Street former Del Padre location up to Main Street, 47 Main Street. A few years later, in 2002, there was what appears to be a one-day sale of, quote, thousands of videos. After that, I can't find anything else about Video Playground in those Greenfield Recorder archives, so I believe the business was closed at that time. And you can see the current street view of that store location there. 1998, as I mentioned, was the end of the Main Street Video run after 1 year. 2000, Video Studio next to CVS was acquired by Movie Gallery after being in business for 11 years. And Movie Gallery, the national chain, bought that out. They were in business until 2010. There's a want ad there looking for help when it became Movie Gallery, but it refers to the location as Movie Gallery / Video Studio. So there may have been some transition period where maybe the inventory was labeled as both businesses or something like that. And you can see here a street view photo of the exterior of the building with the Movie Gallery signage still in place in 2010, and then below what that looks like today as CVS expanded to take over that whole building. 2001, Sounds Easy Video on the Mohawk Trail closed after 13 years. They were acquired by Movie Gallery. And that same year, they closed the Sounds Easy Video location, but then relocated that business essentially down the street to 68 Mohawk Trail. You can see the photo there, which is where D'Angelo and the Yankee Mattress Factory are currently located. 2002, Video Playground, as I mentioned, they closed after a total of 9 years in business. 2005, Video to Go, located at 50 Federal Street, opened. You can't really read these articles very well because it's so small, but the gist is the Video to Go opened this Greenfield store after relocating from Amherst, where they were operating for almost 21 years. According to the article, they cited lower storefront rent costs and less competition here as being their reason for relocating to Greenfield. Unfortunately, the other article right next to it, after 2 years, they closed 2007, citing challenges of competing with the national chain Movie Gallery, as well as the rise of the Netflix mail order DVD business that I mentioned earlier on in the video. And you can see the current Google Street View. That location is now the Tile and Stone business. We're almost there. So Video to Go, like I said, operating from 2005 to 2007, a 2-year run. And then in 2010, last but not least, Movie Gallery closed both of the locations, the last 2 standalone video store locations in Greenfield. The Mohawk Trail location closed in February of 2010, and the Federal Street location next to CVS closed in May of 2010. And that was it for video stores in Greenfield. And just an honorable mention, during the peak of the video store business success, many other local businesses adopted some form of a video club to enhance their business and provide an additional offering for their customers. You can see here, Big Y had a video club. Stop and Shop had a video club. Foster's had a video club. Call's Corner convenience store on Conway Street had a video club. Main Street Marketplace, Adirondack Music when they were still around on Main Street, and R&R Jewelry and Gift on Federal Street had a club as well. I don't know how long each of these businesses had a video club in place, but I think in most cases it was a few years. And so it's very likely that I'm romanticizing those video store days a bit as I look back now with what's clearly a strong sense of nostalgia. But I would say going to the video store frequently became a social exercise, a chance to bump into neighbors, maybe discuss cinematic choices, and to feel often a sense of community that current streaming video services simply cannot replicate. While those video store hubs of human interaction are gone, those that remember them are left with an enduring message from that time. Simple request found on most VHS tapes, which was simply be kind, please rewind. And that iconic motto was more than friendly technical instruction. It was really requesting a small act of kindness and courtesy for the next person. And in today's digitally fragmented world, that humble model I would offer is a poignant reminder to consider. And that's it, folks. Thank you for indulging me on this brief trip to a very specific piece of Greenfield's past. Please feel free to let me know if there may be details that I missed here, or if maybe you worked at any of these places or owned them for that matter, and wanted to share any details about any of them for potential future video store rewind segment specific to one of those stores. Speaking of which, as I mentioned earlier, there will be another video specific to Del Padre that I'll put out there in the very near future. If, again, for some strange reason you're interested, be on the lookout. Thanks again.